football fans, we are ready for NFL picks for week number 15 in the league where they play. I said in the league where they play. For pay! And let's get right to it. 13-1 last week. Show some love. 13-1 last week. There were 16 games. I threw 2 out. Picked 14 games. 13-1. Show some love. Winner after winner after winner. Year after year after year. Month after month after month. Week after week after week. 13-1 last week. We keep getting it done. I hope you guys did just as well. There was money to be made last week. The way I picked the games last week, 13-1. Let's keep it rolling. Week 15. So we're heading down the home stretch now. Pick number 1. Let's go down to Baltimore, where the Baltimore Ravens are home, minus 14.5 against the New York Football Jets. Jets up to 5-8, pulled one out against Miami. Baltimore, 11-2, goes into Buffalo and gets another quality win. That's the most impressive thing about this Baltimore run. They're not beating weaklings. They're beating the upper echelon, as far as teams go. Look at this run they've been on. Beat Seattle, beat New England, beat Houston, beat San Francisco, beat Buffalo. They have a win against Pittsburgh this year. Those are some really, really quality wins. They beat the Rams too. Beat them up, and the Rams are 8-5. Baltimore beating everybody. They're a wrecking crew. I mean, they're just beating everyone. They're not taking a week off. They're on a roll. They're on a roll. I mean, they are hot. Hot. And there's no end in sight right now. Awesome job by the Ravens. I mean, in the beginning of the year when they were like, whatever it was, 4-2, they were playing decent, but they weren't playing great. They are really, really playing well. And the quality of opposition, winning games on the road, impressive, bombing teams. Really impressive run by the Ravens. They're the number 1 seed right now in the AFC, 14.5 against the New York Jets. Listen, to me, 14 teaser people, you get 12 points, you move it to 2.5, you take the Ravens, and away we go. That's the way to play this game. The Ravens, this is a Thursday night game, I believe. The Ravens, on a short week, should have their way with the New York Jets. That's the way to play that game. 14 teaser, get you 12 points, move it to 2.5. That's pick number 1. Pick number 2, let's go up to New England. With the New England Patriots a minus 10 against the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals down to 1-12, lost to Cleveland. New England down to 10-3, lost to the Chiefs. Tried to rally late, had a couple of bad calls go against them. New England's still in the 2 seed right now. It's still kind of finding their way on offense. They've been giving up some big plays on defense as well. So it's been a bad month or so for New England. Still right there, still in the 2 seed. Got to start improving in some areas now as we head down the home stretch. As far as this game, New England should get fat here. They should get fat, should get back to their winning ways. 3-team teaser game. 9 points, move it to 1. You got to think New England's going to take care of business. I mean, they hadn't lost a home game in forever. They're not going to lose 2 home games. They're not going to lose to Cincinnati. And by the way, did I hear boos in New England last week? I mean, are you kidding me? Are the fans up there that spoiled now? And this must be the younger fans, because they know nothing about winning up there in Boston. The older fans, there's no way they could be booing, can they? They suffered all those years with the Red Sox not winning, and before this run with Brady, the Patriots never won. They can't be booing. It's got to be the younger ones, right? The younger people that know nothing but winning from the Patriots and the Red Sox. They have to be the ones booing. Come on now, you can't be that spoiled. Come on. But New England should get fat on Cincinnati this week. 3-team teaser, that's pick number 2. Pick number 3, let's go to Santa Clara, With the San Francisco 49ers a minus 11 against the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta up to 4-9, beat up on Carolina, who's basically falling apart. San Francisco up to 11-2, had an awesome win against New Orleans. I mentioned this last week. San Francisco now has been in 3 humdingers as far as games. The game against New Orleans, the game against Seattle, and the game against Baltimore. I mean, if you're not a football fan, watch those games and you'll become a football fan very, very fast. What a tremendous win by the Niners last week, going into New Orleans and taking care of business. Niners still got work to do because, like I've mentioned for weeks now, they're only a game ahead of Seattle, and they have to play Seattle one more time in Seattle, and Seattle already beat them. You are going to have a 13-3 wild card team play on the road in Dallas or Philly against a team that's like 8-8. It's going to happen, I'm telling you. I got a little bit of a problem with that, where a 13-3 team is going to go on the road to an 8-8 team. League says they're not going to change it. I understand. They want to give credit for the division and all that. But I got a problem with penalizing a team that goes 13-3 because they're in a great division. But that's the way it's going to work out. So the Niners still not out of the woods. They're 11-2, but they could finish in the 5th seed. That's crazy. As far as this game, another perfect 14 teaser game. You get 12 points. Move it to pick 'em and take the Niners. They're going to be way too strong for Atlanta. I know Atlanta beat up Carolina. They're not going to go into San Francisco and win. Niners, that's pick number 3. Pick number 4. Let's go down to Carolina. With the Seattle Seahawks on minus 6.5 against the Carolina Panthers. Carolina down to 5-8, got blown out by Atlanta. As I mentioned last week, Rivera, I wanted him out. No sooner did I say it, he was gone. Carolina has fallen to pieces. Now they're going to trade Cam Newton. They're an absolute train wreck. Seattle, down to 10-3, lost to the Rams. The Rams are hot now. Seattle was due for a loss, especially on the road. They were undefeated on the road, so they were kind of due for a loss. To me, this spread is too light at 6.5. So this is a perfect 2-team teaser game. Move it to pick 'em and take Seattle. There is no way Seattle's losing to Carolina. Carolina is an absolute train wreck. They have fallen apart. There is nothing to like about Carolina right now. And Seattle, coming off a loss, they have to stay within a game of San Francisco. You have to like Seattle to rebound here. That's pick number 4 in a 2-team teaser. Pick number 5. Let's go to Kansas City. With the Kansas City Chiefs a minus 10.5 against the Denver Broncos. Chiefs up to 9-4, held on and beat New England. Nice road win by the Chiefs. Their defense has been showing some signs of playing a little better. I mean, they were a catastrophe for a while. They've been playing a little better the last few weeks. Nice quality road win. The Chiefs are now in the 3 seed. And I guess, yeah, they do have a chance to get up and pass New England because they have the tiebreaker. They're a game behind them now. So a lot of things still in play for the Chiefs. So that was a nice quality road win. Speaking of quality road wins, how about Denver? And this was the only game I lost last week. How about the Broncos? They go up to 5-8. They just obliterate the Texans in their building at one point. Now, the final score was 38-24. At one point, Denver was winning 38-3 on the road, where Denver hadn't won all year, with a quarterback that had played all of one game in his career. And I think Locke looks pretty good. Denver and Elway looking for a quarterback. They may have found one. I know it's a small sampling. I know it's a couple games. You have to be impressed so far. He looked good on the road against a good Texan team who just beat New England. I mean, that was a very good win by the Broncos. You have to give them a lot of credit for that. They came to play. Nice job by the Broncos. They smacked around the Texans. As far as this game, listen, the safe way to play this game, 3-team teaser, 9 points, move it to 1.5 and take the Chiefs. Chiefs are home, defense playing better, big win against New England. That's the safe way to play it. There is a case off of last week to go the other way with a teaser, with whatever points you want to do, and take Denver. There is that case. I will play it safe, and I think the Chiefs are going to win the game. I do. I think the Chiefs are going to win the game. But I do like what I see from this young QB from Denver. You might have something there, but I'll go Kansas City in a 3-team teaser myself. Like I said, you could go the other way if you like. That's pick number 5. Pick number 6, let's go down to the Superdome. New Orleans. The Big Easy. Fat Tuesday. Who dat? With the New Orleans Saints are -8 against the Indianapolis Colts. Colts down to 6-7, lost to Tampa Bay. What a horrible loss for the Colts. They needed that game in the worst way, had a big lead and totally blew it. That could polish off the Colts, for the rest of the year. And the Colts have done some good things considering the circumstances. Luck retires, a bunch of injuries all over the place. They've actually battled a lot, but they really needed that game, and they blew a big lead to Tampa Bay. That was a bad loss by the Colts. New Orleans had a tough loss to San Francisco, so now they're down to 10-3. And I believe because, the NFC is so tough. I mean, New Orleans now drops behind a bunch of teams in the NFC. So New Orleans is now the 3 seed. I believe they're the 3 seed right now. I think Green Bay went to the 2nd seed. Still a lot of football to be played, but that was a tough loss to New Orleans because they were thinking 1 seed. They were thinking 1 seed home field throughout the playoffs. Now they could be looking at a 3 seed. That's a whole different kettle of fish. As far as this game, listen, perfect 2-team teaser game. It's 8 points. Move it to 2. You got to like the Saints to bounce back at home. They had a tough loss against the Niners. I think they're going to bounce back and beat the Colts. I think the Colts are just about done now. And I think the Saints bounce back in the Big Easy, get the W. And Drew Brees has a big day. That is pick number 6. Pick number 7. This is a very good game. Let's go down to Nashville, Tennessee. A lot on the line here. With the Tennessee Titans a -3 against the Houston Texans. How about the Titans? Up to 8-5. Pulled away from Oakland. Tannehill has made all the difference. All the difference. Mariota, to me, is a bust. Tannehill has played well and he stayed healthy. He always had ability, Tannehill, even in Miami, but he always seemed to be hurt. I mean, he always seemed to be hurt, but he has just caught fire at the right time. The Titans playing very well here. They're up to 8-5, and they were terrible at the beginning of the year. They are tied for first place. This game is for first place. Hard to believe. Then you got the Texans. They dropped to 8-5. I talked about the loss to Denver. That was a unprofessional, terrible, deplorable way to start the game for the Texans. I know it might be one of those sandwich games where they beat New England and now they got Tennessee. You're at home. You're at home. You cannot lay an egg like that. That was an embarrassing performance. 38-3 against a team that hadn't won a road game with a rookie quarterback. That was unprofessional football by the Texans. They weren't ready to play. They weren't ready to play. They weren't ready to play. Denver was ready to play. Denver came off that plane and they said, let's go. And the Texans were like, oh, we just beat New England. We got Tennessee next week. Denver, not interested in this game. That's what happens in this league. That's what happens in this league when you do that. That was an unprofessional effort by the Texans. As far as this particular game, I'm going to move the line to 9 in a 2-team teaser and take the Texans. I have to think they're humiliated by last week. I have to think they're going to play better. I have to think this game is going to be close with so much on the line. You have to. You have to. Hard to pick a winner here. I know the Titans are red hot. Hard to go against them. But I think the game's going to be close either way. I think it's coming down to the end. 9 points, 2-team teaser. I'll take the Texans to play better. I would hope they would play better. Show some pride, Texans. That's pick number 7. Pick number 8. Let's go to the Steel City in Pittsburgh, where the Pittsburgh Steelers are -2 against the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo down to 9-4, lost to Baltimore. Pittsburgh up to 8-5, beat Arizona. How about Pittsburgh? 8-5, they're in a playoff spot, and they have a third-string quarterback. And a bunch of injuries on offense. Schuster's been hurt. Connor's been hurt. They're winning with defense, and I would have never said that at the beginning of the year. They now have a solid defense. Hard to believe. Hard to believe the Steelers are 8-5. They looked miserable at one point this year. That's why I tell you about the NFL. It's a short season, but it's amazing the twists and turns during the 16 games. You wouldn't think you'd have that many. You do. Look at some of these teams. Up, down, all around. Steelers doing a tremendous job. Give Tomlin a lot of credit. A lot of credit. Although I didn't like that fake punt Tomlin ran, last weekend, but he got away with it. But Tomlin doing a really nice job this year. As far as this game, Pittsburgh -2 in Buffalo, I'm going to move the line to 8 in a 2-team teaser and take the Bills. I think this game is going to be close. I think it's going to be low scoring. I think it's going to be defensive. I really do. I think both teams can play some defense. Both teams play, close games. I like Buffalo with the 8 points here. I really do. So that's the way to play this game. That is pick number 8. Pick number 9. Let's go to the Big D in Dallas. Jerry's world. Where the Dallas Cowboys are -1 against the LA Rams. Rams up to 8-5. Nice win over Seattle. The Rams have suddenly gotten hot. They look very good. The Rams could go 11-5 and not make the playoffs. That's how loaded the NFC is. They could go 11-5 and not make the playoffs. That's how loaded the NFC is. But the Rams are playing their best football the last couple of weeks. And then the opposite end of the spectrum, the Dallas Cowboys are down to 6-7, lost to Chicago. They are now tied with Philadelphia for first place, which is hard to believe. And we'll get to Philadelphia, later. Dallas, let's be honest, and even Cowboy fans have to agree with me on this. Overrated! 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 The Cowboys are overrated. They are overrated. They have shown me nothing. Nothing. They are a gutless team. And yeah, you can blame it on Garrett and this one and that one. How about the players stepping up? How about the players stepping up here? I know Jason Garrett's not a good coach, and I would have never hired him to begin with, but how about the players? How about the great Elliott, who held out, because he thinks he's Jim Brown? How about the Cowboy defense stepping up and doing some things? How about the players do something? Embarrassing. Overrated. And listen, they still got a legitimate shot to win the division, get into the tournament, and host the first round. That could happen. And listen, you get into the playoffs, clean slate, who knows what could happen. But right now, overrated. And another thing, I don't want to see Jerry Jones anymore after the game telling me he's not going to fire Jason Garrett. I get it, Jerry. You're not going to fire Garrett right now. You've said this now for how many weeks? He runs down to every camera he can find after the game. He's got his big snout in the camera. I don't know why. We don't need to see your snout, Jones. Telling me he's not going to fire Garrett. Well, you said that last week and the week before and last year and 2 years ago. We get it. We get it. We don't need a press conference with you telling me the same thing over and over again, Mr. Jones. I'm sick of your snout in the camera. Oh my goodness, stay up in the... How come no other owners do this? How come no other owners do this? Do you see every other owner every week running down to the camera and saying, I'm not firing my coach this week. It's not the right time to fire the coach. We get it. You're not firing Garrett. Overrated. And again, like I said last week, don't say I'm being too hard on the Cowboys. I've been very positive on the Cowboys for years, and I've picked them a lot, but enough is enough. They've pushed me over the limit. And I'm not a Cowboy fan. I've been fair with them. Overrated! As far as this game, I'll move the line to 7 in a 2-team teaser and take the Rams. I would look for a spread that's 1.5 so you can get the hook and make it 7.5, but most likely the spread won't go up. It'll probably go down in this game. I've seen a couple places where the spread is 1, a couple places it's pick'em. I would like if Dallas was a 1.5 point favorite, and I'll take the Rams with 7.5. I like to get off those numbers like 7-3 when you're taking those teasers, because you get, you hit on those numbers in a teaser, you lose with a tie. So you want to get off certain numbers. I'd like it if it was 1.5, a lot better than 1. But I like the Rams here to keep it close. I mean, if not win the game the way the Cowboys are playing. I mean, overrated. That's pick number 9. Pick number 10. Let's go out to Los Angeles where the Minnesota Vikings are -3 against the LA Chargers. Chargers up to 5-8, just destroyed Jacksonville. Jacksonville's on quite a run, by the way. Go take a look at their last 5 performances. Embarrassing. Minnesota up to 9-4, beat Detroit. Minnesota, of course, a game behind Green Bay for the division. This is a very peculiar game. It's going to be all Minnesota fans. The Chargers basically played 16 road games. They play 16 road games every year. They have no home field advantage. It'll be all purple in the crowd. Having said that, I'm still going to move the line to 9 and take the Chargers. The Chargers are a flaky team. They lose a lot of games, but they lose a lot of games close, especially in that, what I call the StubHub Center. No idea what it's called now. And Minnesota on the road is not quite what they are at home. Minnesota's the only undefeated team at home this year. Not quite the same on the road. So I think this game will be close. If I get 9 and the Chargers, I think they can hang around in this game. I think they can hang around. So I'll take a chance, move it to 9, take the Chargers to hang around in this game. It's a very important game for Minnesota, though. But the Chargers are so flaky and they're in a lot of games. I'll go that way. That's pick number 10. Pick number 11. Let's go to the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field for a classic showdown with the Green Bay Packers on -5 against the Chicago Bears. Bears beat Dallas. They're up to 7-6. Bears all of a sudden doing some good things. They've won 3 in a row. Where was this the beginning of the year when you were looking for it? Too little too late as far as I'm concerned, because I think the Bears are too far behind now, but they are playing their best football of the year. Green Bay up to 10-3. They beat Washington. The first time these two teams played was week 1. It was 10-3 Green Bay. So I'm going to move the line to 11 and take Chicago. I think the game will be close. You know how these black and blue games are. Hard-hitting, close, should be bad weather. Close game in the first game. Chicago playing their best ball, so I think they can hang around in the game. Not saying they're going to win, but I like the 11 points here in the 2-team teasers, so I'll take a chance there and take the Bears with the 11 to at least keep it close in Green Bay. That's pick number 11. Pick number 12. Let's go to the desert in Arizona where the Cleveland Browns are -2 against the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona down to 3-9-1, lost to Pittsburgh. Quarterback starting to play like a rookie now. He's starting to make some mistakes. Arizona losing a lot of games now in a row. They were competitive. I mean, even against the Steelers, they were competitive, but they're dropping all these games now. And they're on, what kind of losing streak is this now? They've lost a bunch of games in a row. 3-9-1, Arizona. Cleveland, they're up to 6-7. They beat Cincinnati. So Cleveland needs this game to get up to 500, maybe have a winning season. I got to go with the Browns here. I mean, whether you pick them in a money line, a 2-team teaser, you get 4 points, you wrap it around. I got to think the Browns are better than Arizona. I mean, I just think they're better. I know Beckham's hurt and all that, but I have to think the Browns have enough to beat Arizona. Like I said, Arizona, 3-9-1. They've lost a bunch of games in a row. Quarterback's starting to make some mistakes. The defense isn't all that great. So I think Cleveland is just better than Arizona. So that will be my pick there. That is pick number 12. Pick number 13. Let's go down to D.C., where Philadelphia is -6 against Washington. Washington down to 3-10, lost to Green Bay. They have been more competitive lately, Washington, since they made the coaching change. They're playing more of a ground and pound style, trying to play, a running game, decent defense, young quarterback in there. So they have been much more competitive lately, Washington. They are still 3-10. Philadelphia, they're up to 6-7, came back and beat the Giants, and it's a good thing they did, because if they didn't, they were in huge trouble. Because remember, Dallas has that tiebreaker. Even if Philly beats Dallas and they end up with the same record, Dallas has the better, I believe, conference record. So I think Dallas has the tiebreaker. So Philly needs to stay even with Dallas and then beat Dallas. So that was a very important comeback for the Eagles last night, because at one point, 17-3 in the third quarter, I'm like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me, Philadelphia? But they did come back and rally to win. They got all sorts of injuries at wide receiver, but they did get an important win. They just, even when they win, they're not impressive, Philadelphia. But they did get the win. Don't want to be too hard on them. They are tied for first place. It's still right there for them. Very bizarre game. Listen, I could see you moving it to pick them and taking the Eagles because it's a must-win. They got to win this game. They really do. They still really need this game. So to me, I would think the Eagles would find a way to win like they did against the Giants. But there also is a case to move it to 12 and take Washington. Washington has been in a lot of the games recently. They've been hanging around. They've been getting their running game going. They've been playing decent defense. They even hung around against Green Bay. So this might be one of those games. And that's a good thing about the teasers. Sometimes you can win both ways no matter which way you go. This could be that type of game where Philly ekes it out, but you still cover with Washington. I think it's right in that, in that realm. Where if you ask me who was going to win, I'd probably say Philly finds a way, but you could talk me into Washington with the 12. I think either way, it's kind of safe there. I really do. So I'll let you guys pick that one. That's a tough one either way, but the Eagles, they desperately need this game. Can't afford to lose this game because you have to keep that Dallas game alive. You drop this game, then you got to win your last two, including the Dallas game, and Dallas has to lose two. So you don't want that. Have to win this game, Philadelphia. So that's pick number 13, and these last three picks I'm going to throw out. Tampa Bay -4 in Detroit. Detroit down to 3-9-1, lost to Minnesota. Detroit, the wheels have come off. Tampa Bay, they are up to 6-7. Big comeback against the Colts, but now Winston's hurt. Their best receiver's hurt. I don't know what's going on with them, so that's a flaky game. Tampa Bay's flaky to begin with, so I'm going to toss that one out. I'm going to toss out Giants and Miami. Giants at home -3 against Miami. Miami down to 3-10, lost a tough game to the Jets. Giants down to 2-11, lost a tough game to Philly. Is Eli quarterback and is the young guy quarterback, and who knows about that? You just don't know what you're going to get there. And then I'm going to toss out Oakland at home -6 against Jacksonville. I mean, Oakland's down to 6-7, lost to Tennessee. They've fallen apart, and Jacksonville is even in worse shape. They're down to 4-9, got bombed by the Chargers. I think Jacksonville has lost every game recently by like 30 points. So you got Oakland who's getting blown out every week, and then you got Jacksonville who's getting blown out even worse. So I mean, I guess you can move the line of pick 'em and take Oakland if you had to, because you can't take Jacksonville. As bad as Oakland has been, look at what Jacksonville's done the last month. They've been bombed like 5 weeks in a row, and I mean bombed. I'm not talking about 10 points. I'm talking 35, 30, 20. They've been just obliterated. They haven't shown up at all. I mean, what a disgrace Jacksonville is. Their defense just a few years ago was one of the best in the league. Now they're atrocious. They don't do anything well. Bad quarterback play, bad defense, no weapons on offense. They act like Fournette's going to be, the next like Eric Dickerson. They're putting too much pressure on him. I mean, not much of a home field advantage in Jacksonville either. A lot of empty seats. There's nothing going on with them. But you don't trust Oakland all that much either. So to me, those last three games, I would personally throw out. So there you go. You guys are all caught up. You guys are all set for your Week 15. Like I said, 13-1 last week. Let's keep it going. Pick a lot of winners. Make a lot of money. I'll talk to you guys next Tuesday. Thanks as always for the support. Take care.